Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today, Agentic AI in Finance, when files become the threats. So before diving into our session today, I will briefly introduce the speakers, how our webinar platform works, and also the brief agenda for today. So let's see. My name is Bianca, and I'm Product Marketing Manager for Meta Defender Cloud at OPSWAT, and I will be covering the first part of today's session, where we'll discuss when Agentic AI, what actually is, how financial institutions are already using it, and why AI-driven file workflows introduce new risk for security teams. My colleague Armin we'll discuss about real threat scenarios and how these attacks can unfold in the modern finance environment. And finally, Bogdan will discuss practical steps organizations can take to better secure their AI-driven workflows. So let's continue and dive into our webinar agenda and see what we have prepared for you. As I said, we have the webinar covering three parts. The first in which we'll be discussing about agentic AI and why financial organizations are adopting it. Then we'll look at real-world threats and business impacts. And finally, we share practical recommendations for securing AI-driven financial workflows. So let's jump in with my side. Let's start by establishing a common understanding of agentic AI and why it has become so relevant in the financial services. So what we think is agentic AI and what is it? When we are saying agentic AI, we are referring to AI systems that don't just answer questions. They can actually take actions on our behalf. They connect to multiple applications and data sources, retrieve information, analyze it, and execute multiple steps with very little human intervention. This is particularly interesting in financial services because they operate with many processes which are repetitive, document heavy, and time sensitive. So let's see where finance teams are giving AI access in the next slide. Finance teams are connecting AI agents to sensitive systems and data like payment platforms, reporting, client information, and also auditor communications. The challenge is that most AI agents trust and process files they receive. So in many cases, there is no malware scanning, no file validation, no inspection for sensitive data. As a result, we can see the malicious files can enter financial workflows, sensitive information can reach unauthorized systems, and AI may make decisions based on untrusted content. So the idea here is very simple. Before files reach AI agents, they need to be inspected and validated with multiple security controls. So we can continue to see which are where we can find this type of agentic AI in the financial sector. Financial organizations are using AI to review compliance documents, monitor transactions, prepare audits, reporting, assess vendors, and so on. So the common factor of all these use cases is they rely heavily on files and on documents. And that's important because every document an AI agent processes becomes a potential entry point for risk if that file isn't properly validated first. So let's see a finance compliance workflow in which agentic AI is involved. Here, the slide illustrates a typical finance workflow. An AI agent retrieves documents from different locations. You can see email, cloud storage, customer uploads, or internal systems. It analyzes the data, prepares reports, as I said before, notifies stakeholders, and also creates follow-up tasks. The process looks efficient, and it really is. The issue is that in many cases, as I said, the file is assumed to be safe. There is no mechanism that verifies the content, origin, or integrity of those files before the agent starts to act on them. We can also see there are many benefits. This is why the agentic AI was adopted in this sector and not only. We know that one of the main benefits of the agentic AI is speed. These systems can retrieve documents and process information and move data between applications faster than a person could do. So the thing to keep in mind here is that in many cases, file validation isn't part of that workflow. AI agents generally are designed to process the information they are given, not to determine whether a file is safe or not. So if a problematic file enters the process, it can be shared or acted upon very quickly, simply because the workflow is highly automated. So to highlight again, that's why validating files before they reach the AI agent become an important control point. Let's see in the next slide why expanded system access grants access to AI agents to more interconnected apps. And this is why finance AI agents often have access to ERP systems, payment processors, cloud storage, and maybe regulatory platforms. Every new integration improves productivity, of course, but it also creates a trust boundary, another trust boundary, where risk can propagate if an untrusted file enters into the workflow. Let's see what is the biggest promise that agentic AI is offering. And one of the things that one of the main benefits for which agentic AI is adopted into the organization is because it's eliminating manual work. But by removing human intervention, we are also removing the opportunity for someone to notice that something doesn't look right. A finance team might process hundreds of thousands of documents every month, every single file becoming a potential entry point. And because everything moves automatically, small issues can escalate very, very quickly. So let's see another threat that is a rising threat right now in the market. We have the shadow AI, which even if your organization has approved AI tools and governance in place, employees may still use external AI services to work faster, uploading reports, contracts, financial data, or customer information into tools that haven't been approved by the organization. So the Samsung incident shows how easily sensitive information, including source code, can be uploaded to public AI platforms. JP Morgan restrictions on ChatGPT also reflect similar concerns around protecting sensitive financial data. The scenarios at the bottom are becoming increasingly common. Client data being uploaded to unprotected AI tools, documents moving between AI services and internal systems, and data leaving environments where traditional controls no longer apply. With that context in mind, I'd like to hand it over to Armin, who will walk you through real threat scenarios and what they mean in today's AI-driven financial workflows. So passing it to you, Armin.
Thank you so much, Bianca. So this is Armin, and I'm product manager at OPSWAT, and I'm gonna just talk about some threat scenarios and business impact, as Bianca mentioned. So we have seen the invisible problem right now, the shadow AI moving past the teams meant to govern it. Let's make that risk visible and put some number on it. In a couple of next few minutes, I'm gonna just give you some credible dollar figure at the risk, why finance carries a heavier regulatory burden than other sectors. And also I'm gonna go through about 3 real incidents that struck financial institutions directly. These are not hypotheticals, documented events with billions at stake. And I want one thing you guys to hold true. Every one of them began with a file. a document, an invoice, something entirely routine. And let's just take you through all of them. So let's begin with the question on every executive's mind. What does getting this wrong cost? 3 figures. The first, $4.63 million, the average cost of a breach involving shadow AI per IBM reports. The telling figure is different though, roughly $670,000 more than standard breach. The same breach costs more once AI is in the workflow. Why? Because the agent spread it faster across more systems with no one to intervene. Bigger blast radius, bigger cost. Second, more than 48% of security professionals now call agentic AI the single most dangerous attack vector for 2026. Of every threat they track, nearly half of them put this at the top of the list. Third, to just completing this picture, 77% of organization lack of foundational data for strong AI security. Together, the cost is higher, the risk is ranked first by the practitioner closest to it, and 3/4 admits they lack of fundamentals. That gap between the severity and readiness is why we are here today. Those figures apply everywhere. But in finance, a breach isn't just a technical failure, it's a regulatory event that changed everything. The risk is not only a malware. The 5 framework on the left, these govern the institution in this room. DORA demands operational resilience. Agent failure must be governed, tested, and reported. PCI DSS, any file touching card holder data needs validated handling. The SEC may now require public disclosure of material AI workflow incident. FINRA and FFIEC examiner increasingly cover AI governance, and FCA and MAS now treat agentic AI as a new vendor risk. One thread runs through all of them. The regulator asks, show me the audit thread. Your agent processes a file, and then where is the record? If it was ingested silently with no inspection, no log, you have nothing to present. And in a regulated institution, we don't have a record is not a neutral answer. It is in itself a finding. So inspecting file at the point of entry is not only about stopping malware, it produces the evidence that keeps you defensible. And in finance, believe me, the examiner always arrives. So let me go through to the real incidents, and I'm going to talk about 3 of them. The first one will be familiar, Emotet, banking malware, active 2014 to 2021, until Europol and Eurojust dismantled it. At its peaks, among the costliest operation in the world, it spread through one vector, malicious document, invoices, attachment, routine correspondence. The same traditional path. A malicious invoice arrives, an employee opens it, Emotet install, and it's pressed. Notice the friction? It needs a human to receive the email and open the file. That takes time, and time lets the defender step in. Someone hesitates, someone reports it. The same attack in agentic era, it's different. Same invoice, but an AI agent ingested automatically. SharePoint syncs a Slack share summary within a moment. More than 1,000 users are exposed. We remove the human and every point of friction with them. No one to hesitate, no one to report. The agent did exactly what it was built to do, fast, at a scale, but with a weaponized file. The very efficiency for which we deploy AI now became the mechanism of its delivery. So how does MetaDefender Cloud break this chain? Metascan multi-scanning run the file across more than 20 engines in parallel. A known payload like Emotet is flagged before it reaches any system. For unknown files, the adaptive sandbox detonates the attachment in isolation, so even a novel variant reveals itself by behavior. So the conclusion here, malicious documents stop at ingestion, never reach the endpoint. So stop it at door, and then the whole middle column never happens. Emotet showed acceleration. The next one, the second incident, shows why detection alone isn't enough and introduce a different defense. Fin7, a financially motivated group activated 2015 to 2023 that compromised hundreds of organizations worldwide. Their instrument, malicious office documents, a Word file with an embedded macro. The traditional paths, just like that, the Emotet, spear phishing email, employee opens it, malware deploys, credentials stolen, system compromised. Again, it depends on a human. But in agentic era, the agent auto-ingests the document and the macro executed within the agent's context. The difference is that the attack no longer runs with the limited access of the single employee. It runs through the AI agent, which may have access to the payment system as we discussed or other business application. As a result, the agent could perform action automatically without human review. The macro has inherited the agent's full privilege. The exposure is no longer one workstation. It's everything that agents can reach. Again, multi-scanning flag known Fin7 file ingestion. But let's just try to consider deep CDR, content disarm and reconstruction, a different principle entirely and a new capability. It doesn't try to detect the macro. It treats the files as a hostile, stripes the macros, exploit, and rebuild a clean file before any agents touch it. The detection can only catch what it recognizes. Deep CDR doesn't need to recognize a threat in order to remove it. The macro is gone, whether we have seen it or not, and the agents still get a fully functional document that simply cannot cause harm. Emotet showed speed. We talk about Fin7 showed privilege. This one shows the stakes. And it began the same way with a document. Carbonac, 2013 to 2015, more than 100 financial institutions across dozens of countries. Estimated losses up to $1 billion. Still regarded as the largest bank heist in history, and its origin was strikingly ordinary. A weaponized invoice, a Word document, emailed to bank staff, an employee opens it. The backdoor installed, the attacker moved laterally to the SWIFT terminals, ATM, payment system, $1 billion stolen. One invoice, the entry point for the largest bank heist under record. A single document that looks like a bill. If it was catastrophic in 2015 with human, consider removing them. The agent auto ingests the invoice, the macro runs in its context with the full privilege. Its credential reach to the ERP and payment system, and the final step, transfer initiated automatically at the machine speed. In 2015, moving $1 billion took months. In an agentic workflow, the agent is already authorized to transfer. The attacker need not break in and learn about the environment. They only operate through an agent that is already trusted and already inside. What took months could take minutes right now. So how do we break this change at this large? A full stack, multi-scanning flags, the known documents before execution. Deep CDR stripped, exploit, and rebuild a clean file with no detection required. So even a novel weaponization is removing reconstruction. And the adaptive sandbox catch droppers' behavior before delivery. The largest bank heist in history began with one weaponized document. Inspected at door, Carbonac never gets in. Those three that I thought so far all had malware in the file, something scanner could find. I will close this section with a thread that defies even that. No malware at all, yet the document steal the weapon. Prompt injection. First, this is not just a theoretical risk. It has been demonstrated by security researchers, including Microsoft Research, and it's recognized in the OWASP top 10 for LLM application. To be clear, this is an emerging threat that organizations should be aware and prepare for, but every threat on the last three slides was once emerging too. Instruction can be hidden inside an ordinary document, a PDF, an email, a report, a web page, invisible to a person skimming it. But an agent doesn't skim. It reads everything. The AI retrieves the content, interprets those hidden instructions as a legitimate context, as it part of a task, and may take action the user never authorized. The key difference is that with attack like Emotet or Carbonite, the file contains malicious code that executed on the system. In this case, the file contains malicious instructions written in natural language that influence the AI agent decision. There is no macro, there is no executable file. The text itself is the attack. In financial workflow, this could lead to unauthorized data access, manipulated report, or regulatory output, exposure of sensitive client information, and most importantly, unintended action by the AI system, such as initiating unauthorized wire transfer or other financial transaction. The document itself becomes the attack payload. No malware signature, no detection alert, which is why the answer cannot be to detect bad files. Some present nothing to detect. The answer treat every file as untrusted and inspect, sanitize, reconstruct it at the point of entry before the agent even reads a word, which is exactly where we turn next. And I'm going to hand it to my colleague Bogdan for just walking you guys through the rest of the section.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bogdan Jančić, and I'm the Program Manager for Meta Defender Cloud within OPSWAT. In the third section, we're going to explore how the Meta Defender platform helps organizations protect AI workflows by inspecting files before they reach users or AI agents, preventing threats while supporting compliance and operational resilience also. We're going to start with the 5 foundational actions that every financial institution should take to secure AI workflows. Action 1, inspect every file before AI ingestion. Treat every file as untrusted. A customer uploads something pulled from internal storage, an API response, or even a partner submission. Route it through Meta Defender API before it reaches the AI component. The second step, apply a layered protection to prevent zero-day threats. Non-malware signatures alone won't save you. Dangerous files are the ones that nobody has seen yet. And action 3, monitor and define disruptive actions. Decide in advance what disruptive means for your agents and run security check at every one of those checkpoints. For the fourth action, validate the data movement between finance systems to ensure only approved connections will be used. And finally, protect the storage environments where sensitive financial documents reside, as those files could still contain embedded malware or a hidden prompt injection payload. Together, these 5 controls help organizations reduce cyber risk, strengthen compliance, and also enable secure AI adoption. Now we're going to discuss about the platform behind those actions and an important choice here. So the same technology stack runs 2 ways. The core technology, Metascan, which is multi-scanning, 20 plus AV engines in parallel for consensus detection, Deep CDR, which rebuilds over 200 different file types from scratch, stripping any active content, Proactive DLP, which brings the ability to detect and redact sensitive information, Meta Defender Ether, which includes threat intelligence, sandboxing, and machine learning similarity search, together with our native AI pre-execution detection engine for threats that don't match anything known. The choice only remains regarding the deployment. On the left, you can see Meta Defender Core for on-premises, and on the right, there is Meta Defender Cloud for a native SaaS solution. Core comes with deployment options within Windows, Linux, Docker, and Kubernetes, whereas for Meta Defender Cloud, there is no infrastructure or maintenance required as it is a SaaS product. Going forward, I'm going to discuss about how this actually sits in an agentic workflow. If we look at the file path from left to right, a file enters. It is a partner submission, again, an internal retrieval or an API call. Before the AI agent ever sees it, the file would hit the Meta Defender Cloud API. There, the engines would run, our technologies would run in parallel. It is from 20 plus AV engines, Deep CDR, Sandbox, DLP, and Predictive Align AI engine. And on the other side, after it went through the entire pipeline, it comes out as a clean, reconstructed file, which is returned to the workflow, or if something is wrong, it's flagged for human review. Every action is logged, proving the audit trail needed to support financial regulations such as DORA, PCI DSS, and SEC cybersecurity requirements. Going forward, you've met technologies, and this is basically the platform. You can step back, and the message is a one-liner. Secure every file in the Agentic AI workflow. Not most files, not just the ones from sources that you know or you think that are safe. You should perform a verification on every file, because in an Agentic AI system, the ones that you didn't check is the one that moves at machine speed. Lastly, I'm going to present an image on how it would be before and after Meta Defender Cloud or Meta Defender On-Prem here. This comparison shows the security improvements organizations gain by introducing our technologies into AI workflows. Without file inspection, malicious documents, prompt injections, and sensitive data can be moved throughout AI systems unnoticed, increasing operational and compliance risk. With Meta Defender Cloud, every file is inspected, sanitized, and logged before reaching the AI platform, helping prevent threats, protect sensitive data, and provide the audit trail required for financial regulations. This would conclude the webinar for today. Thank you all for joining us, for your time and your attention, and we hope that you found the session valuable and gained practical insights into securing AI-driven workflows. Thank you.
Thank you.